The Marvel Cinematic Universe is brilliant at tying things together and ensuring that all of the movies fit into the same world. The movies fit together. They even make sure to add some fun Easter eggs from the comic books. Now, with a new phase of MCU movies starting to come out, the world is expanding. One of the new movies is The Eternals. Let's check out some things you might have missed. First up, it starts like Genesis. The movie starts out like the Bible book of Genesis, but then it goes on to talk about the 6 singularities. This is a reference to the Infinity Stones. You know the ones, the stones that Thanos used to wipe out half of humanity. In Guardians of the Galaxy, it was the Collector that explained that the stones used to be 6 singularities that existed before the universe. They were then forged into the stones. There was even a Celestial that wielded the Power Stone. This has made a record for the MCU since it was an Easter egg that was featured in the first few seconds of the movie, and it ties the Eternals to the Avengers very quickly. Next, we have The Blip. The Marvel movies all came to a head when Thanos managed to combine the Infinity Stones and snapped his fingers. The Blip ended after a 5-year period when the remaining Avengers managed to reverse the snap and bring back everyone that Thanos snapped out of existence. The Blip is one of the biggest events that has ever happened in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It makes sense that humanity is still trying to recover by the Eternals timeline. The movie speaks about the Blip at least twice. It shows how impressed Ajax was with humanity after the event, and it also shows that scientists thought that the tremors were because of the Blip. Now for the link to the Asgardians. From the comic books, we know that the Eternals are linked to the Asgardians and Thor. They even helped in the battle against the Frost Giants. They knew Thor when he was a little god of thunder. The movie even suggests that it was the Eternals that created the Norse mythology. It is a nice way to bring some of the background into the movies, plus an awesome way to link the Avengers to the Eternals. And let me just say, I would love to see a flashback of little baby Thor and Loki running around. This is the content that I am here for. Up next, The Black Knight. You would not have missed the fact that Kit Harington made an appearance. In fact, it gave fans a Game of Thrones reunion when Harington and Richard Madden were able to get back together. It was really cool, but Harington's character didn't have the biggest role ever, and we wanted more. Don't worry, there is no way that they would have gotten such a big actor just for a smallish cameo. And when you look at his character in the comics, then it is pretty sure he will have a massive role in the future in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Dane Whitman in the comics becomes the Black Knight. He yields the ebony blade that was forged from a meteor by the wizard Merlin back in Camelot. And since Camelot also appeared in the movie, this shows that everything fits in together. He inherited the power from his uncle, possibly the uncle that he went to reunite with, but the sword comes with a catch. The darker the person who wields it, and the more they give in to their own dark desires and misdeeds, the stronger they become. If it is an honorable person who wields the sword and someone that tries to do good, then the power becomes weak. Will it turn Dane evil? Only time will tell. The movies don't always follow the comics precisely. And now, on to the vibranium table. Phastos just wants to have a normal life, and there are some great Easter eggs and funny moments that come from this fact. Icarus tries to prove that there is no way that Phastos can really just live like a human. He points out all the security features that the Eternal has added to his home since he has to watch his back. And then comes the funny part. Icarus assumes that things in his home would be made from some more superhero-type materials, like his table. Icarus believes it is made from vibranium, the great fictional material that comes from Wakanda, the home of Black Panther. To prove his point, Icarus smashes the poor table. That has not been made from any special material. Instead, it was just a table bought from IKEA. So instead of taking the hit, like it would have if it was made from a special material, it just completely gets destroyed. It was pretty funny, but also poor Phastos that lost his furniture. Next, we have Cersei and Icarus as Sylvie and Isaac. Another little Easter egg that is a throwback to the comic books comes at the moment when Cersei and Icarus arrive at Phastos' home. He doesn't introduce them with their own names, instead he introduces them as Sylvie and Isaac. This goes back to some of the aliases that the two have used in the comics in the past to be able to fit into the human world. Icarus had another alias when he was called Ike Harris at one stage. Have you seen Eternals? What did you think about the new movie? Many reviews were a little lukewarm. Did you enjoy it? Or did you also expect a little bit more from the new group of heroes in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Let us know in the comments section. We love to hear from you. Next up, we will check out more things that you could have missed while watching Eternals. The moment between Thena and Crow, some of the new characters we met in the end credits, and a whole lot more. Now for Thena and Crow. Crow doesn't speak too often in the movie. He is a deviant who is trying to improve the status of his people. He wants to help them become more than just monsters. But even though he doesn't have loads of dialogue in Eternals, he does have one pretty intense moment with Thena, where he appeals to her by using the words of Gilgamesh, who he killed earlier. But that wasn't the Easter egg. Did you feel like there were a few vibes between Thena and Crow in that moment? A bit of romantic tension? Well, you wouldn't be wrong. In the comics, they are soulmates. At one point, Thena even left the Eternals to live with him among the deviants. They even go on to have twins. For centuries, the two of them are off and on, and they can never quite break free from one another. It is kind of sad and romantic at the same time, but if the movie didn't show this dynamic or even hinted it like they did, then the comic book fans would have been really disappointed. I really enjoyed the fact you could notice the romantic tension. How about you? Up next is the news station. This is a universe that has loads going on. There are heroes destroying cities to fight off aliens. They have lost and regained half of the population, and so much more. Obviously, the news and journalists are kept busy with reporting everything that goes on in their world. And the news station of choice for the MCU is WHIH News. This news station first came up in The Incredible Hulk. By the time that Captain America Civil War came around, there was even a YouTube channel and a Twitter account that had fictional news reports that worked as promotion for any new Marvel movies and shows that are coming up. The news station has popped up in a bunch of Marvel movies and shows like WandaVision. Then in Eternals, they tune in to watch the news on WHIH World News. It was a fun little Easter egg, and one that just might inspire fans to check out the social media pages in the real world. And finally, Star Fox and Pip the Troll. If you are a fan of the Marvel movies, then you know very well that your behind does not leave your seat until after all of the credits are done and the screen has gone completely black. Some of the best moments in Marvel movies come in the mid and post-credit scenes, and Eternals were no different. They introduced us to a few new characters for the universe that is sure to mix things up. Two of those characters were Star Fox and Pip. Eros, who is better known as Star Fox in the comics, is an Eternal, and get this, he is the brother of Thanos. He used to be a bit of a hedonist that didn't take anything seriously. It makes sense since Eros is the Greek god of erotic love. He has the power to provoke pleasure in others and manipulate them. But then his brother Thanos launched an attack on their home world and it changed Eros. Why he didn't help the Avengers to stop his brother is a question that still needs to be answered. Then there is Eros' sidekick Pip, who was a guardian of the Space Stone in the comics. Both of them are associated with assisting cosmic characters. They could either become part of the new Avengers or even join the Guardians of the Galaxy. Are there any other moments that you picked up on? Share them with us in the comments. Thanks for watching.